All right, everybody, happy Monday. It's the first Monday in May. I love May. I love April. I love spring. Let's just put it that way. And so much happening in May with it's almost like the beginning of summer, right? The end of May is the beginning of summer. So I'm super excited for this time of year and for all of you. And I just want all of you to reach out with your right arm, like Robert says, and pat yourself on the back, because the most important person is you. And for you being on this call tonight, we appreciate you and all of you, what you bring to the table and all of your comments, even throughout all of these calls. So I'm excited for tonight too, because our guest of honor is Mr. Jim Rhoades, who I call Daddy Roo. And I'm excited that he's here tonight because I love how he can take such complex science and break it down so that blonde girls can understand it, like for real. I love that about you, Dad, Jim, and I'm grateful that you're here tonight to educate us on the miracle of the body, and specifically about the Ultra 30 shake and collagen, and tying that all in. So welcome everyone to tonight's call and learning about the miracle of the body. If you have any questions, type them in the chat box and we will have question and answer at the end as well. And welcome to all of our guests. We're excited that you're here. So with that being said, I'm going to turn over to one of the smartest men I know, who has 8 children. And what is the joke around that, Jim, with all of them being, what is it?
I have 8 children. Actually, it starts out a little different.
Oh, okay.
I have 2 and 1/2 dozen children.
Oh.
Yes, that's 2 and 1/2 dozen. Oh, is that all?
Oh, yes.
Rather than 30. And they're all girls, except for the 3 boys.
Yeah.
But I always do it the other way around. They're all boys except for the 5 girls. Oh, yeah. I am blessed. I truly am. And as you noticed, I have blonde hair too. So that's why I relate so well to us blondes.
Well, I appreciate that in every sense of the word. And and Jim has also been, he's been a CEO of his own nutrition company. And then he found Better Nutrition, and now even Better Nutrition, that he's super excited to talk about. He's even trained at Harvard Medical School on health and nutrition. And so we are so excited to have you here tonight. So welcome to the call.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. And thank you, everyone. Jill is right, and we stole it right from Robert. The most important person in the room is yourself. Thank you for investing time, which is the most precious thing you have, because once it's gone, you don't get it back. And if it's spent well, it's worth a lot, especially if what you've learned you can utilize to improve yourself and others. And that's what I'm going to share, a little bit of knowledge. And then if you apply it, it becomes wisdom. And until then, it just sits there. There are a lot of knowledgeable people in the world. So you mentioned that what you would like me to start with is the miracle of the body. Having been on stage with a lot of different people over a period of a long time, I have met many, many people of different faiths, religions, and backgrounds. And we would always get into discussions that were most interesting. And one of the things that I like to help people understand is just how miraculous this thing we call our body is. What it is capable of doing is far beyond what we usually think it can do. And I personally believe that it was created by the creator who created after his own image and put everything inside that was needed to help us find joy and enjoy this journey we're on here on earth, discovering beautiful things for our benefit. I teach 3 or 4 basic things, and if you'll get these 4, basic principles, the rest of what I teach about or share tonight, we are what we eat, what we drink, what we breathe, and what we put on our skin or soak ourselves in. So those are the way that all of the elements that make us up get in us, and they're all affected by one more thing, and that's what we think. Literally every one of the 37.2 trillion cells eavesdrop on all of your thoughts. If you can think your happy thoughts, I mean, Peter Pan got it right, believe it or not. This is a true principle. If you have happy thoughts about your cells, they get happy. If you've got sad thoughts about them and wish them not very well, they try to obey. They will follow what we think. That because they're created to serve us in every possible way they can. So if we can figure out what to give them, we can have a healthy, vital, enjoyable life, both long and one that we enjoy every day, or most of them anyway. With that in mind, what makes up the body? The miracle of the body is this: because we are a body of regeneration, we can regenerate at the rate for an adult of approximately 1 billion brand new cells per minute. That's huge. That's a lot of cells going on. We have, as I mentioned, approximately 37.2 trillion cells in the human body. And this is the big number. You may want to write this down because it's hard to remember it. It takes 1 quadrillion pieces coming together correctly to form one cell. That would be the nucleus, the DNA, the mitochondria, which are the little battery packs, the form, every part of the cell. So those numbers are so big that I didn't give anybody goosebumps yet. But when we translate those numbers, I hope that it will. Because if you haven't heard this before, you are amazing. Yes, you are. There's no one like you. There's no one that has your fingerprint or exactly your DNA. So let's translate some numbers to give you the goosebumps. Let's start with a small number so we have something to relate to that we relate to every day, and that's time. Let's start with a small number such as 1 million. If I started counting right now by 1 per second, say 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, it would take me approximately 12 days to count to 1 million. To translate that, that means there are 1 million seconds in 12 days. Got the relationship there? Okay. In the last minute, you just created 1 billion brand new cells. 1 billion. So how long would it take me to count to 1 billion if I counted by ones? If I started right now, it would take me 33 years to get to 1 billion. There's some small goosebumps going on, I hope. But I mentioned all of those cells add up to 37.2 trillion. So how long would it take me to count 1/37th of them? In other words, 1 trillion. If I started right now, it would take me by ones 29,700 years to count just 1 trillion. Now you know why the national debt is as big as it sounds like it might be. Okay. Here's the one that should give you incredible, can I even say it, God bumps? Because there is no mistake. There is no way this could have just kind of big banged into existence, in my opinion. 1 quadrillion pieces to make one of those cells, and we have 37 trillion of them. That would take you 29,700 years to count just 1 trillion. So how long would it take me to count the pieces that make one cell? You ready for this number? 30,800,000 years to count the pieces of one cell. Who has time to put that many pieces together to form the first cell? Except somebody who knows something like God science. Incredible. So where do those that 30,800,000, it takes that many years to count, pieces come from? Remember, I told you at the front end, from what you eat, what you drink, what you breathe, and what you put on your skin. Okay? So if like yesterday, you ate a bunch of Twinkies, today you're wearing a bunch of Twinkie cells. Not too healthy. If yesterday you ate good nutritional food, dense in all of the building blocks, all of the pieces that make up that one living cell, that entity that makes every part of our body, from the hair on our head to the soles of our feet, from our heart to our liver to our toenails. Everything is made out of cells. That is the base of all of us. And with that being said, those pieces come from our foods. Now, there are 4 essential nutrients that the body can't create or generate from combining a bunch of other things or generate on its own. Like it can create vitamin D from the sun through the skin. But most of the other vitamins and minerals, it can take this part from this and this part from this and combine and make several of them, except the ones called essential. And there are 4 essentials, 4 different nutrients that make up those essentials. You've heard of them. Essential amino acids. The base building block to every cell is a protein. So those are our proteins. And we have lots of amino acids, and some of them are called essentials because the body can't produce them on its own. So we have to ingest them. Essential fatty acids, okay? Those fatty acids are your oils and your healthy fats. Essential vitamins, the spark that has to make everything run. And finally, essential minerals. And if you took all of the essentials and found there were 12 of these and 6 of these and 3 of these, and then 60 of the big part, which are minerals. Interesting, the majority of the 90 are minerals. How important you suppose minerals are in making us? They're vital. In fact, without minerals, vitamins are useless because the body cannot absorb a vitamin without its counterpart of minerals with it. So it can pull it into the body and then into the cell. Vitamin C, we all know how important that is for our immune system. Vitamin C requires calcium and magnesium at the same time to be present for the body to absorb it. How interesting is that? In nature, we always find all the plants that are rich in the vitamins we like, they have their co-part of minerals with them. So these are little co-parts that have to be present when we ingest and eat the foods we eat to get them all in. Wouldn't it be incredible if you had a meal that was full spectrum? Now, what in the world does that mean? That it contained every one of those 90 nutrients I just named. Every one of the essential amino acids, the proteins, every one of the essential fatty acids, the healthy fats, every one of the essential vitamins the body can't create, and every one of the 60 essential minerals, plus a whole array of the additional ones that also are necessary, but the body can, if it needs to, generate those. That's exactly what we have in this product line. The genius of these master formulations is off. It's beyond the gold standard for me. So now that we know that, if we can give this body of ours the building blocks it needs so that it can regenerate at the rate of 1 billion brand new cells per minute, how healthy do you suppose the body can get if we pay attention to it and its needs, and we actually consume and put them in us so that it can rebuild and regenerate 1 billion new cells per minute as healthy as it knows how? That's what the body is trying to do. And it sends us those signals all the time. The signals show up if we can't build healthy immune system cells or healthy soldiers to protect us, we constantly get sick. They show up if we do a little exercise and then the next day we can't move. Our endurance isn't there. Our stamina is not there. It takes time to try to rebuild whatever little muscles we did use if we haven't been out exercising. All of those things show up and try to help us understand, okay, the body needs something. Pain is an indicator, if I can use that word, I'll transfer it to this. Discomfort is an indicator that we're missing something and that the body, which is capable of self-healing, would like it. And it starts showing up higher and higher and higher as that need goes up. And often, if it's a nutritional need, we can actually get the body to do some self-healing by simply giving it the tools it's been asking for, the building blocks it's been asking for. And to do that, you need a couple of simple things. You need a full spectrum food, meal replacement, which is just a meal that can deliver. Now, the nutrients that are needed often are in several other foods, but don't come particularly supplements. How many people here have used supplements in the past? Pretty much everybody, yeah. Most of us probably have, because we realize we need some of these nutrients. But do you realize without a delivery system to do two things? They have to be broken down into individual components so they can be used. And then they need to be picked up and taken into the body with a delivery system called enzymes.
Hey, Jim, you're muted.
Hang on.
There you go.
So thank you. So what's important is if we're going to eat a supplement, you need to know that there is a way for those individual units to get broken down properly and then delivered out to where they're needed. What if there was a meal, and let's suppose its name was Ultra 30, and it comes in two different forms: plant form for the people who want to be vegetarian and vegan, and whey formed for those people who can handle a little of the dairy side or the animal side. And, you know, I commonly get asked this question, okay, I'm already using a good meal replacement. What's the difference between yours and the one I'm already taking? Mine seems to be a little less money than yours. Well, the first thing I ask is, do you take anything besides that meal replacement with your protein shake? And they'll list off a whole bunch of other bottles of things that they take other supplements out of. And so one of the first things you need to know, this is a full spectrum. So it has the minerals in there. It has the enzymes in there. It has the probiotic in there. It has the essentials all wrapped up in one meal. So you don't need 4 or 5 other things. And suddenly, oh, when you add the cost of all the other things they're taking to go with it, wow, gosh, maybe yours isn't so expensive after all. That's an interesting thought. Second of all, it doesn't matter how good for you something is if it can't break down and can't get to where it's needed. Its delivery system is incredible. So I have 3 things to say about the Ultra 30s. Number one, what does the 30 stand for? 30 grams of protein, the purest, the cleanest, and best source proteins, in my opinion, gold standard again on the earth. Okay, our whey protein is sourced from New Zealand. And if you want to be wowed, look up New Zealand whey and why many doctors have done so many studies on it for even people with AIDS. One of the few products that these AIDS patients who used to not survive could put lean body mass back on their bodies. I mean, there's ample information of why it is a different quality and purity and nutritional standard. Its amino acid profile is one of the highest of all forms of protein. Some little unknown facts: whey protein, if you know about acidity and alkalinity, is dead center 7. It is neutral. And then when you add the botanicals to it, which have the vitamins in it and the minerals in it, okay, all of those, suddenly now you have a 7.2, which is light alkaline, which is recommended by naturopaths and other doctors. Now, I need to put a disclaimer in here. Zolago products are foods. They are not medicine. They were not meant to cure or heal. Only medicines can have that claim, and we're not doctors, which means we can't prescribe or diagnose when it comes to disease. But what we can do is recommend a food that if they're nutrient deficient and any of their disorders quite possibly are caused by lack of nutrition, this will fill the bill like nothing I've ever seen. And they will see in short order that if this product does what we think it will, if their nutritional needs are met, some of them are going to claim a miracle happened. They might even say, like, yesterday I was half dead and today I'm twice alive. I've actually had people sort of say that to me in different words. And another one that's common is, I forgot how good it feels to feel this good. And that is a claim that I believe everyone on this, I can see the smiles on your face that you believe that too. It is good to be alive when you feel good. It's really not that fun to be in a hospital bed. So what is your health worth? Everything. How can you enjoy anything without it? It's tough. This gives us a chance, and we can paint a picture or cast a vision for people that simply says, hey, try it. You'll know. If it works, you'll know it because it'll show up. It'll show up in a whole bunch of ways quickly. So that's the Ultra 30. And the 3 things I was going to say. Okay, number 1 is its source, it's gold standard. Number 2, its amino acid profile is one of the most superior building blocks for what we're eating it for, which is the protein or the amino acids, which are going to rebuild our whole body. And number 3, 30 grams of protein versus almost all others. The max I've seen is 24. And this is a superior protein. And our shake has 5. The package has 15 meals in it, not 12, 13, or 14. So when you compare, we have a stellar product at a great price. So what does that break down to? About $3 for a complete meal. All right.
Hey, Jim, can I add a 4th one on there too?
Please.
I am so glad that we get Ultra 30 cells and not Twinkie cells. Like, did you guys do the visual when he said if you eat a Twinkie, you get Twinkie cells? I just visualize like all these tiny little Twinkies inside my body and they're just puffed up. So thank you. Thank you for bringing that to the visualization, because nobody wants Twinkie cells, right?
Not even us blondes.
That's right. That's right. Is everyone just
Hey.
loving this information? Like it's incredible. Oh, okay. Let's keep going.
All right. the other, I can do such a fun deep dive, but we'll do that. Here's the question. Are those things really in there? If you read the label, would you understand every one of those words that name all of the herbs that are in there and the quantities of the vitamins and the minerals and the enzymes? What it comes down to, we can trust the engineer who engineered it. I have full trust. I have been in the industry for 45 plus years. I have never seen an array like this with the percentages that are printed right on the front and the back of the package. And you can't print it if it's not there in the quantities it's in. Okay, hopefully that's helpful. The other thing I was asked to speak on was the collagen. How fun is this? Collagen 300. And that 300 is very significant. You see, the most plentiful protein in the body just happens to be collagen. Our own body produces it from a series of vitamins and minerals. All the way up to age 25, we're producing ample. At age 25, we start to diminish at 1 or 2% per year. So by the time you hit 74, okay, I'm producing about 10% of what I would have at 19. So that creates the saggy, baggy wrinkles and everything else, because collagen turns out to be the glue of the body. It is what creates structure. It is in everything. It's in our bones. It's in our fingernails. It's in our muscles. It creates ligaments, tendons, cartilage, teeth, for Pete's sakes, bones themselves, heart, muscle, everything, okay? It's what gives elasticity to everything so that we can bend and we can pull and it snaps. It used to snap faster, but it snaps, okay? And it's getting better because collagen is that factor that makes that happen. As we diminish in how much we produce ourselves, we need to start supplementing. So when someone says, you know, I'm only 25 or I'm only 30, I'm not sure I need collagen yet. Truth is, they could still use some because they're making a little less each year. And Neville, what are the 3 outstanding quick things about what makes Solevo Collagen 300 different than anyone out there? Because there are a lot of collagen products available. And the cost range are very inexpensive, all the way to extremely expensive. Ours is the gold standard again, and it is unique. It has some qualities that no others have. Number 1 is the size of the molecule that science has helped them figure out how to replicate from marine collagen. And that's thus the 300. The 300 stands for the terminology of Daltons. It seems that all these little receptors for a collagen molecule can accept up to 300 Daltons, okay? That's the circumference of the molecule. Unfortunately, most of the collagens on the market are not just 300, they're 3,000. So here's what people don't realize. They're thinking bigger, better. Well, no, not really, because try pushing a basketball through a little hole that's big enough to accept a BB. Does it make sense why you want it to be the size of the receptor and not this giant molecule that only a portion of it can even be absorbed? When you can match the size of the receptor, you have magically made your absorption rate increase into the high 90s instead of the low 10s. Is there a bit of difference in that? The quality of this size requires those who sell it on the market now to charge 2, 3, and 4 times what we charge for ours. So price is big, but more importantly is the absorbability and usefulness of it. Okay. When you can get 90 to 95% in, now it's going to have a incredible reaction, especially if you know this about it. Number two, it's therapeutic dose. What in the world does that mean? Well, we've heard of the RDA, the recommended daily allowance of certain nutrients, and proteins are one of them. And collagen has an RDA. When you go third therapeutic dose, you go between 2 and 10 times the amount of the daily recommended, which means you have to have such a pure quality that it cannot back up and become potentially dangerous to you because you're getting too much. It needs to be able to be washed away what is not used. In other words, it doesn't become toxic to the body, and ours is not. But it's therapeutic dose, number one. Number two, that makes it last a lot longer in the body because of the high volume it carries. So it lasts a full 24 hours, and you don't have to take 2 separate doses of high expensive stuff. You take one. So it's hang time, they call that, in the body, lasts you a full day. Okay. And last but not least, science now knows exactly what is needed in the body for the body to produce its own collagen. And there are 4 vitamins and 2 minerals. When you have them in high amounts, your body remembers how to build its own collagen to add to the supplement you're taking. And the 4 vitamins are vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin E, and biotin. And when you match that with zinc and copper, you have a perfect combination to make your own collagen.
So Jim, the question that just came in that goes right along with this, it says, is collagen equally as beneficial if you take it in as a supplement as when your body produces it? Are you saying that the collagen helps our body produce it?
They used to think that, but the truth is it needs the A, C, E, biotin, zinc, and copper to produce its own. When that's not there, it still can't produce any. We now have those ingredients to help it learn how to start doing its own. And the real key is our supplement as good as what the body produces? I would have to say possibly not, but so close, with its diameter being those 300 Daltons, which is the size the body produces. It was built for that, which is an equalizer so that much more can get in. So it's a double whammy.
Okay, another question came in to me directly. Will the collagen 300 cause kidney stones?
That is a super good question, and my answer is I don't believe so. And I think I'm aware who might need to know that answer a little more deep, but I will do an extra dive, and I will ask the people who put it together, particularly Kirsty, who is over all these formulations, to double check and do a retract if I'm wrong, but I think not. Normally, kidney stones and even gallstones are mostly made of calcium and not that protein. Okay. But with that being said, I will do enough research that I can get that information out via a whole bunch of methods, if I've ever heard of collagen being at the bottom root cause of anything like kidney stones.
Okay.
All right. Now, the rest of the reason I can say that is who is most apt to have kidney stones. Is it young people who make a lot of collagen? Have you heard of very many people under the age of 25 having kidney stones when they're making lots and lots of it? Or is it us later in life when we're not eating enough calcium? And there's, well, I won't get into the science of I believe it's a lack of calcium in the body that causes us to retain whatever calcium it can capture, and they turn into those stones in the kidneys. There's a difference that some people say, no, it's because we're taking in too much calcium. Most of the people in the health industry say it's because of lack of calcium.
Got it.
Hopefully that answers that question. And
that's great.
how are we on time? Are we good?
We're good. We have a couple of stories we want to share. Did you go everything?
Please.
Did you go over what you wanted to go over on the collagen?
Well, I would love to, as each story is told, maybe make a comment or two about that story of why that may have happened. And I'm assuming it's about these two products.
Yes, it is. Okay. So first up, we have Heidi Grazzini. Heidi, welcome to the call. And I asked Heidi to share her story. She's been on other shake supplements before in her lifetime. And I just wanted her to share what the difference has been with her with Zoleva. Welcome, Heidi.
Thank you. Yeah, with the Ultra 30, I noticed a significant result. I'll say immediately, but very dramatically within the first 48 hours. I have for years tried to supplement and exercise and convenience and being busy mom, working out in the gym, things like that, you know, I tried a lot of the protein shakes, pretty much everyone under the sun, I'm convinced of. But what I noticed with other shakes was that I always had some form of discomfort or gut disruption. So I would try different, you know, I'd try whey, I'd try plant, you know, and choked a lot of them down, you know, the grittiness. And even still, I just felt kind of queasy and icky and unsettled in my stomach. One of the other things I noticed only once I tried the Ultra 30 was, you know, like I didn't have that bloating. I didn't feel some of them, I think maybe probably because of the sweeteners possibly that were in them. I used to get kind of like icky headaches or feel almost a crash sort of after. And really just, I think once I started the Ultra 30 as well, I just noticed like a major, I was almost unsettled in my stomach for a day or two, but once I hit that 48-hour marker, it was like, I literally felt like whatever imbalance was going on in my stomach, it was like repairing, rebalancing, better balancing, maybe, you know, and now I know that there's probiotics, you know, little bits of probiotics, and I had started the probiotics at the same time as well. But that, you know, I think we were kind of winning the war that was going on in my stomach, which led to all the other amazing benefits. You know, but I just started feeling increased energy. I loved the taste of the shakes, first and foremost. That was amazing. I mean, they were very sweet and they taste like ice cream. So I was really nervous about, I'm very sensitive to certain sweeteners. So when they tasted that delicious, I was worried that I was going to have like headaches as a side effect, and zero headaches. And within a couple days, I felt, you know, like my body was truly being flooded with the nutrition that it needed. I felt kind of less aches and pains in my joints, was happier in my tummy, had better energy. I felt more sustainable energy, and my hunger was like gone for hours. I mean, hours and hours and hours. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to eat again. So it just, everything that I've tried out there, and there have been many, I've always, I think, sacrificed something, you know, like, oh, it's good for my body, so I'm going to take it, even though I have these other side effects or these discomforts. And I had zero of that with the Ultra 30.
Oh, I love that. Heidi, thank you. Thank you for sharing. When I started on the shakes, I just know that previously it had just given me a big stomach ache, you know, and just with the whey that was in that shake, I was always going, like always clearing my throat. And I didn't know, the source of that way had changed and things like that. So I am equally as grateful to have the Ultra 30 in my body. So Heidi, thank you. Thank
My
you for your
pleasure.
story tonight. You're so great. Okay, so I'm going to Amy Weaver, are you on? I don't know if I saw you jump on. Just unmute for a second if you are on.
I'm right here.
Okay, all right, girl.
So, but I don't know what I look like. So hang on, I'm not very tech good. Okay, can you see me
Oh,
now?
there you are.
Hi.
Yeah,
How's the
yes.
light?
I just know that you have really loved the collagen. So I would love for you to share a little bit about your journey with the collagen, if you're open to that.
Oh, I'm open. Can you, is this, okay, you can see me okay? Because you guys
Yep.
are over here. Okay, so this is my hair. I am 56 and I've been on it 3 months. So we're going to start with this. Can you see? I haven't washed it today. This is my hair. This is the collagen. Okay, it was right here, I think 3 months ago. It's too hard to see. Okay, the hair is amazing. I'll just start right there. And I've been on collagen for 5 years. And the last year I was on collagen was stuff in a bottle that was bottled really quick and it tastes amazing. And I never had the results that I am about to tell you. I have been in indescribable pain and sleep deprivation because of it. Because at 16, I injured my ACL. I tore my ACL, which is a knee in your joint, or joint in your knee that splits. And it was so painful, I couldn't weight bear. So I wore out my left hip and herniated a disc. And by the time I left my house at 18, I had all those injuries and they just kept happening. More injury and more injury and more injury, because when you're twisted in your skeleton, you do sports and you do nursing when you walk 18 miles a shift, your body wears out. So my joints have worn out. I've had 9 surgeries, bone on bone in my lumbar spine. And I was taking this collagen because my aging in my family line wasn't real good. I looked at my parents when I was in my 20s and I said, I see a knife in my future, because that's where technology was at. And at 51, my face started sagging off my face like my mom's. I thought, oh no, we're going to do something about this. So I did. I got on the collagen. And I have since learned that most collagens are 1,000 Daltons to 3,000 Daltons. That's the size of the average collagen out there. So, like I said, the regular collagen I just did in my coffee, and the last year I was on the stellar collagen. Literally 3 months ago, as of like 2 days ago, I got on collagen 300. And 5 weeks into my first time on this, I was laying on this area, which I call the bane of my existence. It's where I herniated my disc and I had a muscle spasm like wood. My muscles are like wood. They would call it fibromyalgia. It's muscle damage. And so 5 weeks in, I'm laying on this thing and it lets go for the first time in 40 years. I just hit my 40-year mark in February. And so I was shocked. 2 weeks later, I noticed the pain in my body was quite less. Now I'm saying that word because the FTC are the goons for Big Pharma and they're going bye-bye. So they can all hear that this collagen is helping my pain levels tremendously. And so I noticed they were down about 30%. My pain levels were low. And then 2 weeks after that, I noticed I could dig into these muscles, these injuries. I was able to stick my fingers in between the fibers. And 3 months later, I can tell you those pain levels are down to about 40% instead of 100.
I love that,
It's
Amy.
insane. It is insane. Anyway,
Yes.
Can I jump in here just for 1 second?
I want to hear everything you have to say.
Your story is phenomenal, so that we can always stay in compliance, so that the FTC and the medical side of things don't get too mad at us. We usually use the word discomfort and not able to stretch or move, and then suddenly we can just so that they know we don't cure or heal. We just don't use those words as often, or we have freedom of speech, except when we don't. I'll just say it that way.
Yes.
And but your story is phenomenal, and what's really neat about it, it's not unusual. My back also had some rough spots from when I was a teenager, and I've always had that weakness. And suddenly now I can bend over and almost touch my toes, but I can stay bent over and tie my own shoes, put on my own socks, and stand up and not go, ow, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. And that is so cool. And now I'm 74, and that's given me that resilience. So I'm waiting till when, my skin looks like the skin of my little 4-year-old kids. They're just, beautiful. But I don't know it'll reverse that much. But that is what collagen is all about. And you've got the best of the best, and it's shown up in such an incredible way in your life. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes, thank you. Can you tell me why this is happening? I can only assume it's laying down new tissue underneath the scar tissue and making the scar tissue dissolve. Is that correct?
Well, part of the way you're describing it is probably correct. However, I would say what it's doing is we're replacing cells. How many? A billion a minute. When it sees things that are old. Now, I don't know if you've got into the fasting part or, that intermittent fasting stuff with autophagy. When that takes off, now more magic happens because it's taking old, broken, dysfunctional cells out and replacing it with brand new ones. And that's why you see things shrinking, like your age lines and little scars and things like that. Why it's so good for us. So your answer is yes. And the science is your body had the tools and the building blocks it needed to do some repair that's been needed. And that's what the body's ability to self-heal is. Give it what it needs and watch it do a lot of its own work rather than just a Band-Aid.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I love your feedback. Anytime. Just always jump in.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you. Appreciate you. I just want to make a disclaimer here, like Jim kind of already did, that we don't claim to heal, diagnose, cure anything. Just like Jim said, when we give the body the nutrition it needs and what it deserves, and it has the ability to heal itself. So that's what we're talking about here. So I just want to put one more person on the spot. If all of you, first of all, I want you to read Udana's comment in the comments, because it's been a big story for you, Udana, with the collagen and the shakes and the entire Zalebo formulations. So thank you for putting that in the comments for sure. Do you have anything to add to that at all?
No, I'm just feeling great, especially at my age, and it's really, I feel like I have another 30 years and I'm really planning on it, of productive years. But the fact that my bones now went from 4 pounds for years and years and years on my Renfo scale, and now they're 5.4 pounds, I can only imagine that they're just denser and stronger. So I'm like blown away. So whatever that's about, but Jim will know more about that than I do. All I know is I feel good.
That's great. I love that. Thank you. Carol, are you on? Oh, you are here. Carol, can you unmute just for a minute? Carol Henderson. I know that you have a huge story around both of these formulations, and I'm going to give you a minute and a half. I know that's a short time, but if you can just share a little bit about your story really quick.
Okay, well, I have done shakes for years and I have done collagen for years. I've probably used 4 or 5 different brands of collagen. I had found one that I loved. It was great. It tasted great. It came in little zip strips. It was like a decadent delight. So I thought I was really doing good. And I did see some improvement. But then when I went in and did the pre-test before launch, the trial and stuff, they made us clean out for 2 weeks and we couldn't have any kind of collagen. And I'm thinking, oh golly, that stuff did work. I'm having trouble getting up and down the stairs. This hurts. And just a myriad of things. And then we all started on the same day. And so we started drinking it and I started seeing some changes, and still kind of like, is it gonna be as good and such as that? But it rocks. I can tell a difference. If you're taking it, you're drinking it, you haven't told the difference yet, just hold on, because it is going to get really good. My husband's noticed a major difference in his movement and flexibility in his spine and muscles and just strength. The shakes, they're the bomb. I'm a shake person. I love shakes, especially in the summer, but I've always had to like put coconut milk and all kinds of fruit and really doctor them up. And, 18 grams was about the most protein you could find in one. And yes, you had to take your other supplements and you had to take your other things. With this one, I can drink it straight with milk. I prefer to put ice and make like a milkshake. I often freeze fresh fruit and put it in there to do it that way. But that's it. I had given up trying to lose weight. We have one friend that had on here today that says she tried to lose weight and accidentally got healthy. I had given up losing weight and had decided that I was going to be the way I was. And I decided I was going to be happy, that was just God's plan for my life, because I'd tried so many different regimens to lose. And I just started drinking the shakes because the company I had drank their shakes quit making them. And so when I met Robert, he said shakes. I'm going, okay, tell me more. And I started consuming them. Didn't even start doing the fasting or the autophagy stuff either yet, just the shakes. And I started dropping weight. And in fact, it surprised me so much. I went to town one day in ridiculously loose, ripped jeans, to the point, somebody's going, you need to go shop. And it was embarrassing. They were so big. And so I went for the health and accidentally lost weight and have kept it off. In fact, this month will be my 1-year anniversary is coming up with drinking the Zalevo. And my husband and I both consume every product they make, and we love it. And the collagen has changed our life. The shakes have changed our life, as have others. One shake I had been on that I liked was soy-based. They got the genetically altered foods got into the food chain. I was consuming them faithfully, loved them, felt great. But then my gut got messed up. And I have learned a great deal about gut health since then. Several things I've done really helped. The Zalevo products really helped, and my gut was getting back to pretty normal, not totally, because genetically altered foods can change your DNA in those areas. And, I don't know if that's a medical claim or not, but it's a fact. So sorry if that was bad. But anyway, the Zalevo products, my gut health was getting back to normal. But when I added in the collagen, it's like, woohoo. And that has rocked along since 2006 that I've been trying to get that repaired.
I love that, Carol. Well, thank you for sharing your story. You're incredible. And I love that so much. Okay, Jim, back to you. And I'm going to have you wrap us up. And then for those of you that want to, well, all of you that are in Zalevo right now, I would love for you to stay on after Jim wraps us up for just a few more minutes. Thanks, Jim.
You bet. In a few sentences, you've heard it all from everybody. And I could just say amen and we can go to bed if you're tired. If you're on E5, maybe we better stay up another hour or two. But truth, if health starts in the gut, this product is based around that, because it's giving us, with that base of that Ultra 30 shake, a way to rebuild every tool, every building block it needs to rebuild. Usually what gets the weakest is the mucal lining. And with that, then you add the collagen, which tightens everything up. Now, I'm sure we've heard of terms like leaky gut and, those kinds of disorders, irritable bowel and things like that. Well, when everything tightens up and you've got the right kind of bacteria in your gut to start, replacing the bad guys and pushing them out, so many positive things can happen, including things like, autoimmune disorders that are just complicating so many people's lives. They can start to see things that can improve so rapidly and so quickly just from getting gut health. And these two products are at the top of the list along with your biome. When you put the shake and the biome and the collagen together for people who have those kinds of issues, you have blessed their life beyond anything they would have ever expected to happen, because they're all downhill if you don't reverse it. And with that being said, these products help with inflammation. All three of them are built around helping that inflammation, which is just another autoimmune response to back off of you and let some of that healing happen on its own. So with that being said, we have not just good products. I'll end on this statement. Any one of the 6 or 7 that are a singular product good enough to launch a major company. But when you put them all together, their synergistic effect happens more rapidly and more definitely for almost anybody who will put these to the test. And the test is simple. You put the product in your mouth and you end up looking like David Hinton, skinny and healthy.
That's right. At his age, right? He said he's 76 and he feels about 50 to 55. And Kara Thorpe said we didn't even talk about how they counteract stress, right? Anyway, so many things
Yes.
that these formulations can do for our bodies, and they are a miracle. And I'm a true testament for that as well. And so many of you, if you haven't been reading the comments, there are incredible stories in there. Jim, you look really great in your pink shirt. There was about
Thanks.
10 comments at the beginning, and Robert has pink on tonight too. It's just pink night. So with that being said, thank you everyone for being here on this call tonight. And we're going to end the recording right now. And then for those of you that can stay on for a few minutes, I'm excited to share some exciting information. So if you're a guest here tonight, thank you for being here, and please get back with the person that invited you to this call. And thanks for being on, you guys.